Hey guys, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Jake.
Welcome back to the Walleye Files. We got Bob Claus, FinFanatic Charters. Super excited to have you on, Bob. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for asking me to jump on tonight for a little bit and talk about what's going on up here on Green Bay. So, yeah, cool.
Happy to have you.
Absolutely. Let's get right into it, Bob. I know you've been guiding a lot for whitefish. How's the bite been?
The whitefish bite's been really good. I mean, if I shade back a couple of weeks, we were still pecky with the ice conditions. Everybody always wants to know as we're going into an ice fishing season up here for whitefish, like when we're going to be out deep. That's always the big question. We've been poking at shoreline structure for a few weeks before that. That bite was slow, very tough. So now over the last 2 weeks, we've carefully worked our way out to deeper water. 2 weekends ago, most of us got out and did a little bit of fishing, pecked at it during the week. I'm just real cautious because even though there's a lot of ice, and we could talk about that, there's been a lot of cracks, wind issues like that have kind of, given us a headache out there. We always get cracks on Green Bay. It's just a known, but this year's been a very odd, exceptional year with different things that have happened to us. That sometimes folks don't understand what we go through out here because they look down the street at the lake down from their house and see people driving trucks on it weeks ago and want to know why we're not fishing yet. Green Bay is a whole different dynamic when it comes to ice, for sure.
Whole new ball game there.
It is. Great Lakes in general, right? Saginaw, every place like that. Erie, it's a whole other ball game. It's just another dynamic. Wind, currents, moving water. It doesn't freeze as quickly. Things take time to heal. The wind is relentless. That's always our biggest problem early on, is that relentless wind not allowing that ice to settle and form, essentially. So, yeah, but right now, things are good. I mean, I think this cold spell we're in right now, so we're sitting in a really good deep breeze again. So we got some negatives coming, and there's a little bit of a warm-up through the weekend with some snow, but then another blast of 3 or 4 days I saw we're going to see some negative temperatures overnight. So conditions are looking good. I think we're full speed ahead to be out on the reef structures without too much concern. So that's kind of where we're at with it. If guys are looking to venture out on their own up here, which we see a lot of that, still have to use a lot of caution. A week ago Thursday, so less than a week ago, that heavy wind we had on Thursday did a shift to the south briefly for about a half an hour, 45 minutes, and fractured some very large cracks, created some open water pockets. And we're talking about on plate ice that was 15 to 20 inches thick. Shoves, pockets, correct. So we guys that like myself that are out there guiding on a weekly basis, I'm out there every Wednesday through, even last week I was out there Tuesday through Sunday. We spent hours. We canceled everything we had on Friday to spend hours re-scouting safe routes, safe travel, because we're out there seeing the conditions. A guy that maybe came up a week ago and had an ATV route out to the reef, if he tries to redrive that route, is going to run into ice pack that shifted and moved about 300 feet in spots. So not the whole pack. Crack line shifted. So you could drive into potentially thin ice. Now, saving grace is the cold weather we've got. That's building ice pretty quickly. Some of that skim ice that got some snow on it is probably, if I had to venture a guess, over the last couple of days, pushing 6 inches to 8 inches already, but we'll see. Yeah, so there's a lot of dynamic out there right now. The bite overall has been really good, though. Once we got to deep water, fish were there waiting for us. First week out there, we had limits in just about every shack. I mean, I didn't run a full load of guys, but we had some limits without having to work at it tremendously. The last week with the changing weather threw a little curveball at us, and the bite was a little pecky, but we still maintained some good fishing. And I foresee stable weather now, even though it's cold. The stability in the weather pattern should present us with some really good fishing for whitefish. They can be very picky with weather changes, pressure, etc. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with it.
So other than whitefish, is there any Green Bay is obviously known for walleyes, perch. What can you tell me about those two bites right now between Door County, Oconto, the southern portions of the bay?
Sure. So just from guys that I talk to, I typically, this time of year, I'm so focused on whitefish, I don't really dig into the other species. We do some walleye fishing later when we get into March. And we'll do a little bit in February, evenings and mornings, but not too much. But the guys that I know that are out there chasing perch on a regular basis right now, the bite has been very strong and really nice perch. I mean, some of these guys are reporting when they get into schools, they're keeping 9 to 11, 12-inch perch and throwing back multiple fish in the 13, 14, 15-inch range. Multiple, not just one, multiple. We're seeing a big resurgence this last year out here on Green Bay in general in the perch population and the size structure, year classes, whatnot. I mean, even in the summer, don't target perch a lot, but ran into some major schools this summer and then focused on actually with some walleye techniques and actually did really well because they were such nice size perch, 10 to 12-inch perch were pretty common. So, but areas around like your Dead Horse Bay, Swamico, those are still producing. The key is to get away from some of the busyness. If there's a bunch of people in the area, just move a little bit. The guys I talk to that are kind of getting away from 4, 5, 6, 7 groups, and you get off on your own a couple hundred yards away, can find the schools moving around, running tip downs with minnows, tip ups. Not even box tip ups are ultimate, but guys running regular tip ups are catching them pretty easily because they're pretty aggressive fish right now. The Dykesville area hasn't been a good report of a lot of perch. I know I'm sure they're getting a few there, but it seems like those fish are not hanging around there. Maybe that's the deeper water they don't want to be in. The swamps, the shallower water's definitely been key. Little Sturgeon has been okay. There's been a lot of pressure around there, so that's kind of tapered off a little. From what I gather, the bite in like Sawyer Harbor up in Door County was really strong, and then it kind of got really tough. But I know a few guys that did decent there this last weekend. And I think that's because the pressure, again, had tapered off a little. Same tactics, shiners, small shiners, bad heads, mostly shiners and rosy reds on tip downs, tip ups, that kind of stuff. Then jigging spoons are getting them too. If you sit and jig all day. But yeah, so that perch bite's been strong. Oconto, from what I gather, has been strong too. Up there, they were dealing with some cracks not too far offshore. Even going out of part 2, you had to watch it. I know of a UTV that went in up there this week that they just pulled out like yesterday. So that's given them some trouble. But again, this cold spell is really going to make a difference. Guys will be able to cautiously travel a little further, a little more area to spread out and whatnot. But a walleye bite, I haven't heard a lot. I know a couple guides that are fishing over on the west shore areas like the Ganos Reef. They're dealing with some cracks and they are picking up a few fish. But Green Bay has never been a winter numbers game for walleye. As good as this is of a fishery in the summer, spring, summer, and fall, open water for walleye, I mean, fantastic, really. That winter, it's a whole different animal. I don't know why. A part of it has to be the fact that the water gets so clear when you get ice coverage that the fish just don't, the feeding windows are short. They get spookier. Obviously, you get into March and the feeding window is open. Longer days, the fish know spawn is coming and they'll start feeding stronger and you'll have a good bite. But this time of year, it's always tough out there for guys looking for walleye. Some of the rock humps that you can easily get to, like your 2 Mile Reef, Volks, Around the Rocks, Vincent, early morning, evening, you got a shot at it. Larson's Reef, always, there's a shot at it out on Larson's on some of the shallow humps, early morning and evening. Shoreline breaks, working the sand to rock transitions. Can find some fish. A lot of times you'll see them come in, just look and swim off. That time of year, it just gets tough. But so, yeah, that's kind of where things are with that bite right now. Nobody's really reporting any great catches. They pop up once in a while. Or you'll be jigging for whitefish off a bay shore and you'll find one that'll rim through and decide to bite your bait.
Yep.
Randomly.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Bob.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jake.
Oh, I was just going to say, before we let you go, where can people find you if they want to book a trip with you? Your social media, a website, whatever that may be?
Sure. So they can get a hold of me via cell phone, 920-3602. You can find me on FinFanatic Charters is my Facebook page. I'm pretty active on there. I follow it pretty close. You can send me a message on there, private message. They can shoot me an email at finfanaticcharters@yahoo.com or go to my website, which is finfanatic.net, and you can see my rates and you can send me a message through there too. For guys looking, I get asked all the time, even when guys do rentals with us, they want to know what the hot bait is for whitefish. Anything you can put on the bottom that looks like a goby, period. Plastics, get paddle tails, make them Gobi colored plastics have been by far our hottest bait. We don't use any live bait anymore, not waxies. We use fake waxies on sliders, but it's all artificials for our groups. You know, various paddle tails. You name the brand. If you can make it look like a goby anywhere in the 2.5 to 3 inch range, put it on the bottom. It's all technique driven, and you'll get the bites. But you know, if guys want to come out and mess with minnows, you certainly can. You don't need to buy any live bait. We got away from using it a couple of years ago, and our bite's always strong with plastics. You tend to pick up bigger fish way too. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Bob.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Hopefully the weather cooperates, and we're running right now. The plan is to run through the 3rd week in March. So hopefully we're rocking and rolling if the weather cooperates and we keep building some ice.
Sure.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thanks, Bob. We appreciate you being on.
No problem, guys. Take care. See ya.
Yep. Talk to you later.